Hello, it's been a while since we've done another redesign video. In fact, I think by the time this video is out, they've already been ported to Nintendo Switch. So that's a thing. You can play it on Switch if you wanted to, but that's not the point of the video. But today we'll be doing the third redesign video where I do about, I think there's like at least 12 characters we have in a row. So that's fun. Yeah, yeah. For these designs, I focus less on making them kindergarten mascots this time and more like cartoon characters for a television series. They have more motivations and personalities than the cast of the first few chapters of the game, so I tried leaning into that more. Where the characters of the first few chapters had roles specific to teaching and caring for children, these guys have their own secondary arc where there's a powerful magical scepter that they're fighting their lives for, a plague of naughty ones running about, and a whole underground city made up of failed experiments, with the initial goal of finding your kid in this twisted kindergarten still being talked about. It's a strange but engaging story to say the least. Let's move on to the characters. There wasn't much I wanted to change from Queen Boncelia. She just gets more regal attire like a fluffy cloak and cool gems on her crown. But now that I'm looking at it, her cloak kinda looks like Kingers from the Amazing Digital Circus. Kittysaurus gets sharp cat-like pupils in her eyes and has more subtle details like the buccal flap you see on T-Rexes in movies. I struggled a bit with this design initially, but I think it worked out. Tamataki and Kamataki keep the hard hats they have in the wall art. Also gave Kamataki more spiral-like eyes like a regular chameleon. Another one of my personal favorite designs. For Bitter Giggle, I wanted to try pushing more gesture aspects without being too cluttered. So I initially had him with stripes all over his body with yellow accents, but I found that overwhelming to look at. So another concept I had was him having solid colors and a longer jester hat, but I shortened it to give a better silhouette. For a while I misinterpreted the snake on his hand to be a derpy puppet with googly eyes, but I think it looks cuter like that. Swinjin does not have the best visual clarity when put together side by side with the cast, and I even thought he was a fan character. A lot of assumptions I made before the chapter came out was that he'd be a hammerhead shark or a slug, but it turns out that he's a human mixed with Drivania much like BanBan. Regardless, I settled on the shark because the tail looked like a pretty fun addition to his design, and he also gets a lab coat to show more of his mad doctor tendencies. Sir Dadadoo gets a mob boss attire and a cigar to show off how intimidating he can be. I kept the gloves on for more visual clarity amongst the dark purples. You think he'd be like, "Hey, I'm walking here," or something like that, you know? Probably not, but yeah. Lastly, for this segment is Flumbo, I think, the blue guy that was teased at the end of the latest chapter. I drew him just like my BanBan design and altered the eyelashes and beard. I imagine his personality would be similar to Drew from Despicable Me, given that he's identical to BanBan, or maybe he's a previous iteration of him, who knows. Now I'm gonna quickly go through these designs that don't get a lot of changes, and I just want to mention as a quick little round, if you will. There might be some construction in the background, bear with me here. Zolfius' 3D model reminds me of some kind of tapeworm. I also drew a mascot version referencing his wall art. The Drivanium citizens don't get a lot of changes, wholly because they're mainly failed experiments done by Swinjin and not intended as mascots. Here they are with some hats. I did a similar idea for that weird fucking baby thing that was teased for chapter 6. Kebab Man is peak design, there are no flaws present in him. The other stupid experiment gestures that I think one of them was voiced by Think Noodles, I don't know who that guy is. But yeah, here they are, I think 2 of them are dead. I have no clue, the wiki makes it hard for me to differentiate the colors because of how they're described. And that's all the designs for today, I hope you enjoy. Very early on, before making these videos, I did these drawings purely out of spite, but after a while I learned to be more neutral and open about how people feel and connect with these characters, even if it seems absurd to others. For every person who has an ironic enjoyment of this series, there's another person who likes to make ship art of jellyfish and demons, and both are pretty valid feelings. I approach these designs with wanting to improve its flaws while not removing what makes people like them. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Let me know how you feel about BanBan as a franchise, whether you love it, hate it, or you just kinda don't care at all. Do let me know, and thank you so much for watching, and goodbye!